Hello, you're welcome to Your Image, and this is the second edition of the topic we discussed last week: youth, entrepreneurship, and public relations. Today on the program, I have different personalities from different backgrounds, and with me today on my immediate right, I have Mr. Emmanuel Oke. He is an honor personality, a broadcaster, and media administrator. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Your Image, Mr. Emmanuel Oke.
Thank you for having me.
On my far right is a friend of the family, Your Image family. He was with us last week. He's a veteran public relations expert. Mr. Iremi, you are welcome to the program once again.
Thank you very much.
And on my immediate left here, I have Mr. Babs Adesoya. Is the chairman, Business Advocacy Group, Ogun State Branch. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And let me start from Mr. Oke. Last week, we took a cursory look at what entrepreneurship is all about, as well as the youth are also concerned, and we try to provide certain solution. From your perspective, in what way, especially the organization you work for, which centers on youth development, human capital development, entrepreneurship, and the rest of them. So in what way do you think this can help the youth of this nation?
Thank you. A lot has been said already. Each time we talk about entrepreneurship, people have defined, scholars have written. However, I think we should all start to look at going really practical about entrepreneurship. It should go beyond just a word of mouth or something written on paper, something that has been scribed down. We should start looking at how to make things easy. And we spoke about policy and policy. I think we should not put the policy blame or the policy responsibility on the doorstep of the government alone. Private investments, private businesses should start looking at the possible means to help other smaller businesses. How do you go about that? There is someone in your area, you know this person can sell you, for example, you produce water in bulk. Why not assist people by giving them water to go and sell in smaller units and they pay to you later? With that way we can make wealth go round without everybody having to do a white-collar job. And particularly when we talk about entrepreneurship, we should not see it as a very big thing. I experienced something recently. I was walking out, then I met a young man going to work, someone around my age. Then he asked me, he said, "I love what you are wearing. However, if you need a dry cleaner, call me." And he put a caveat, "Call me at so time, because that is my side hustle." So we should start demystifying entrepreneurship and not see entrepreneurship as this big giant, as a mystery. Yes, that's it. It's just simple. It's little things you can do. Sell this. I offer this service. I can do this for you. How much will you pay me? Just simple as that.
Okay, that's a very good one. Let me go to Mr. Iremi. Last week, you talked about how youths of this country are making Nigeria great. You talk about sporting activities, you talk about entertainment, and there are no other areas like networking. What about people who don't have flair for entertainment, for sporting activities, and the rest of them? In what area do you think they can explore the God-given gifts that they have?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Moderator. Like he said, the concept of entrepreneurship has always been with us from time immemorial. But it's just that people are catching the bug now. Everybody is talking about entrepreneurship. But entrepreneurial spirit has always been there, even right from the agrarian period of this nation. How do I mean by that? In those days when eyes were still a little bit dark, you find people will say, "Let me help you to do this, I'll help you to sell, then I'll make my own commission from it." That is what entrepreneurship attitude is all about. Ability to look at the situation, no matter how primitive or low or high, and then you come up with something and you see a challenging situation. So, okay, if I do this and this, I will solve this problem and I will make money. That is also the concept of wealth creation.
Wealth
At the micro level, at the small scale level, at the medium and the large scale level. So at all levels of businesses, you can decipher, you can figure out, okay, there is a challenging situation here. And with your sense of doing business, because an entrepreneur is first and foremost business inclined. You want to create something out of nothing and then provide solution to that. So like we were talking earlier before we came on set, like in the campuses, there is what is called work study, where students who are very indigent, who cannot pay, who cannot even afford 3 square meals on the campus, they can go in between periods when they are not engaged to do laundry, to cut the lawn, to
render little services,
clean gardens,
okay,
do all these little chores and make money out of it. That is the spirit of entrepreneurship we are talking about. However, at the school level, okay, I remember in those days when I was a teacher at Ekpe Grammar School, they had this technical drawing, woodwork section. When I was talking about lack of sustainability, they brought most of this machine from Bulgaria, and they taught people how to do tables, tools. Where are those things today? If you go to our schools, they are no longer there. Then suddenly there is a cyclical return again. That okay, entrepreneurship means when you get to school, if whatever your thing you are studying, just pick a vocation and develop it. That is the new spirit now.
Okay.
But I hope government, from even primary school, should be able to encourage primary school people to get involved in craft work and sell this to make money and survive.
Okay. Let me go back to Mr. Babs Adesonya. As an advocate of a business group, do we leave everything to government alone? And as an advocate person, what is your group and other groups, advocacy groups, are doing to encourage the young ones so that they can be independent and not only relying on white-collar jobs?
Thank you very much. As an advocacy group, we are into encouraging youth to be involved in entrepreneurial
Activities.
skills.
Okay.
Like we have an annual conference that we organize every year. This year it was on cooperative, but I want to tell you that last year it was on youth empowerment, which has to do with the topic at hand. And during the conference, we normally invite papers from experts, and at the end of the day, we have our communique, which we send out to government and those people who can
Be of help. Okay.
from it. What I want to point out is that majorly the youth are being encouraged to go into what they can do with their hands, because you will find out that we are talking of youth unemployment. We have graduates who 5-6 years they will be claiming not to have a job. But you will see that, why should that be? Having been trained in the university or the polytechnic for so many years, and you come out, you are insisting on looking for paid employment. But now we could see the emphasis is on you learn anything that you can be good at, so that you will be earning money. Because when you look at the world we are in now, you can only get something from what is beneficial to somebody else. Not that you can just come up with any trash. And so it is important for our youth to always see opportunities that are abound so that they key into it, and with the opportunities they are able to fashion out the solution for the
society. Thank you very much. You're watching Your Image, and I want to tell you that you can also join us on the other platforms: DSTV 260, GoTV 100, and StarTime channel 113. And I still have my guest in the studio, Mr. Emmanuel Loke. As a media personality, what is the role of the media in empowering? You talk about empowerment, and when they do that at their own, then what should the role of the media be in disseminating this information to the people at this grassroots and people who actually need these ideas?
The role and place of media cannot be overemphasized. It is so important, as blood is important to the daily running of our body system. Now, let me start breaking it down. Part of it is the place of enlightenment, and this is what we are doing now. If more media houses can take up this kind of responsibility and let people know how this can work and educate people on the concept of entrepreneurship and the practicability of it, it makes things much easier. Another thing is the place of the media in itself, absorbing these people. Believe me, for youths, there are lots and lots of opportunities in the media. You don't have to work in a television or radio. It has become so widespread. I heard the previous episode you spoke about social media and how much of its importance. And it helps businesses today. For an average standard business of this year or this century, it must have a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram page that will help push. And that is a place of advertisement. Even back to the ideal or the traditional media, the place of advertisement for businesses is something that we cannot place little emphasis on. Take, for example, you are running a business and people don't know. You'll be surprised that your neighbor would not know that you do this thing, that you render this service, or you sell this thing, until you probably advertise. How do you advertise? Number one is word of mouth. Number two is even with your social media contacts. How can I be friends with you? How can you be on my WhatsApp list and you don't know I do a particular thing? You don't know I take media contracts, for example. You don't know I host events, for example. So there are lots of things that we need to put in place when we talk about the media and entrepreneurship. And like I said earlier, we cannot place more emphasis on the many numerous aspects that youths can benefit from. Now this century, people are now merging both terms. With this fourth industrial revolution coming, media and technology is now playing a crucial role in every aspect of life. Entrepreneurship not left behind. Their coinages are now coming up like Mediapreneur, just from media and entrepreneurship. And it simply means how we can infuse the peculiarities or the intricacies of the media, business, and our society. Because without the society, media cannot thrive. Without the society, business cannot thrive. So there are lots of things, and the role of the media is something that we still need to sit together and work out to help businesses. Media houses of today find it difficult to help out businesses. I'm struggling to still buy goods in my store, for example, and I want to advertise, and the rate being slammed on me is so ridiculous. I'll just give it up. I think it should now come to a stage where media houses should target these small businesses and look for how to incorporate them into their system, cluster them and help them, so that way you know that you have played your own part. It's not just about preaching entrepreneurship. How do you support this entrepreneurship as a thing? And that's one thing my own organization stands for. We've been able to help businesses in this town over the years, and we are proud to say that. Anytime we go outside, people even tell us and they share the testimonies. It's not because we do not want to make money too. We're a business outfit, but because part of the sole reasons for the setup was to aid leadership and entrepreneurial process. So sometimes if we really want to be serious about helping entrepreneurs, we should determine intentionally to subsidize and make the environment easy to operate for these businesses. And I think with that way, and it's a matter of let's patronize each other. That's how we can spread with our social contacts.
Okay.
We can just look at, okay, what do you do, sir? This is what you do. Let me patronize you. You patronize me in return. The money would flow to you too. I would give another service to you. That way, the cash will keep flowing within the society. Yes, and expanding. So that way, we can have a better society.
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned networking, and sir, as a PR expert, public relations is a subset of the media.
Yes.
And let's go to branding now.
Okay.
You have a very good idea, but no branding. Don't you think this will affect entrepreneurship? What is wearing now is owned by somebody, a local person, tailor, so to speak, but no branding. So let's come to branding. How do you think this can aid entrepreneurship?
Of course, when you have arrived at a product you want to start making money from, branding of that product is very key. And you look at most of the things we get from the West. What is so special about it? It's just a function of branding. And he said somebody told him the other time, hey, look, when you want to take care of this dress, I am into laundering. But by the time the person who is going to launder his dress, finish the job, it's not just a question of dipping in water and pressing it, but you have to package it. That is where the branding comes in. And if you go to most of these micro businesses we have around, they lack effective branding. And when you are branding, your branding should also incorporate the content in terms of what have you put together there in that package. And initially, this something they call, which we now call sachet water. They call it pure water in those days. It's also in this rubber nylon in those days.
Ice water.
Ice water. And you see all these people get running all around the streets, and they hold up and they say, buy ice water. But today now, it's been properly branded in the sachets. And they will have the table water along with it too. So these are the kind of they want to see in all the subsets of micro businesses. Even if it's as small as the work of a cobbler is. After you have finished the work, maybe you have a small label. You jam it on it, and it will emboss it in it.
That reflects your name.
That reflects your name and perhaps your phone number, which is key for marketing. And when you brand very well, you are also creating wealth and also expanding your market share beyond your immediate confines. And I feel that that's another area. Those people who are in the advocacy, like him over there, where they are organizing conferences, they should come to the practicability of all these things, not just a situation where you publish academic papers, which is also good for the cerebral publics.
Yes, I was.
What about the low publics?
Yes, I was coming to ask him what you just mentioned. I think you just assisted me in doing that. That as a member of an advocacy group, what is your group and other groups are doing, and what is the relationship between your group and other groups and government, so that they can actually help, not on paper like he has said. What is the practicability that you have been able to achieve to make sure that people are put off the street, the less rich are put off the street, so that they can be independent?
Yes. The conference I mentioned is just one of the activities we carry on. And I want to tell you that as regards other groups, advocacy groups, I will tell you that I belong also to the Chamber of Commerce in Ogun State here, and the Chamber of Commerce is engaging the youths in what we call dual vocational training, and the system is such that you will employ a youth, and he will be attending a school organized by the chamber, and he will be taking practicals in
that particular
in another
establishment.
in an establishment that is offering that
that is related to that particular trade.
yes,
Okay.
like we have industrial electronics.
Okay.
That you know, when you look at the way our factories operate, you will discover that when a little problem arises, maybe in the electrical area, you now call one of these
Trainees
no, I mean our artisans.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What you discover is that more often than not, they do more damage to what you have called them to come and repair. So with this dual vocational training, the employees will be trained by the advocacy group, and they will come back to the factory to render the services which they have learned in the shop floor.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, we discover that most of these jobs that were hitherto not done well are now being handled. And
by experts.
we are encouraging our youth to take this opportunity to learn properly what they should have learned under their crude trainers.
Okay.
So we now offer down-to-earth training, and I must add that this training were initiated by the German experts, and they trained the trainers. We call it
Train the
train the trainers. So they train the trainers, and the trainers are now training the others.
Okay.
So,
Well, Mr. Emmanuel, in a final note, to those youths out there who are still looking for ways to get out of the shackles of ignorance, so what advice do you have for them?
As much as I would never be an advocate of you not going to school, I would say pick up a trade today. It might not be the regular trades. Brainstorm and think about something you can do that will stand you out from the rest of the people. That way you would be filling a void in the society. And I would urge business owners and traders, artisans to train people free of charge. We need it. There's nothing you have that you have not received. Why not give out to people? And that will be my work today.
Thank you very much. To our guru, the PR guru, Mr. Lanre Uremi, your own advice as far as the populations is concerned.
Well, my own advice as far as the various publics of these youths I have segmented last week when I was here on this set is that every youth should be able to look inward, because there is something God has deposited in everybody. And when you are able to look inward, there will be one thing you have passion for. Discover your passion and create wealth out of it.
And to create wealth, and on a final note, a quick one from Mr. Adesanya as an advocate of youth entrepreneurship. And so what's your advice? A quick one?
the youth of Nigeria have been advised to learn to use their hands and know that they have to produce something which the public need, and this will enable them to have their own contribution made to the economy of Nigeria.
And that is how far we can go on this week's edition of Your Image. I want to say a very big thank you to Mr. Larry Remy. He's a PR expert. Thank you so much for being part of this show.
Thank you.
Mr. Emmanuel Oke is an honored personality and is a broadcaster. I want to say a very big thank you to you.
Many thanks.
And of course, Mr. Babs Adesanya, the chairman of Business Advocacy Group in Ogun State. Thank you so much for being part of our show. And until we meet next week for another interesting, fantastic edition of Your Image, I want to say happy Boxing Day, and I wish you prosperous New Year in advance.